We thought that the FTX contagion was over. No, we didn't. We knew that it would get worse. And invariably, over the weekend, it did. Let's dive into the absolute ridiculousness that happened this weekend. You know what? We were recording our episode, the weekly episode on Friday. And as we were recording that episode, FTX continued to fall apart. Anyways, guys, let's dive into this right now. Okay, we are going to start. We're going to start this FTX clip with this particular video clip of Mr. Wonderful himself. Yeah, I am not exactly sure as to the exact date that he made this video, but it was posted by fellow Bitcoiner Neil Jacobs, and it was posted on November 11th. I'm pretty sure that this video is a little bit older, but anyways.
If there's ever a place I could be that I'm not going to get in trouble, it's going to be at FTX.
Ew. Wrong he was. And see, this is kind of the problem, right, with these influencers and you know, those of us who seem to feel that, you know, because somebody had made a lot of money in the past that they must know what they're doing. They represent this material success. But look, Mr. Wonderful just got wrecked as fuck. Let's just be honest. He just got wrecked on FTX, right? He believed in Sam. He believed in the vision. You know what? I don't think he really understands Bitcoin, or if he does, just doesn't give a shit and figured, hey, you know what? This is all fake. This is all fake money. I'm going to make a whole bunch more fake money off of fleecing the noobs. And he ended up getting fleeced. Anyways, that's not the point of this. The point of this is the additional contagion that came out of FTX. So Friday evening, we had this post that appeared. And of course, I had to tweet it out. In my typical sarcastic fashion, we are surprised. No, we are not. We are not surprised at all. Celsius, Voyager reveal FTX exposure. Two of the summer's biggest shitcoin bankruptcies. Celsius and Voyager have revealed exposure to FTX, which could dramatically restructure their bankruptcy proceedings. That's right, guys. As if it didn't get crappy enough, okay? As if Celsius wasn't enough of a shit show, they had further exposure to FTX. So here we go. Now we're going to start to dive into the numbers. FTX held just $900 million in liquid assets versus the $9 billion in liabilities, as video emerges confirming Alameda knew it was pilfering client funds. That's right. This is so pathetic. You really got to wonder, right? You really have to wonder at some point where all this money comes from to make all of this stuff. And it is just absolute bullshit, right? $9 billion in liabilities, and they had $900 million in liquid assets. All right, Robinhood, $472 million. Ledger Prime, $200 million. Here we go. Here comes some DAIs and USDs, and here's some fake gold. $228 million. Well, these guys are really the savvy investors. It's brutal. Okay, and here we go. Here's that was the liquid stuff. Here's the semi-liquid stuff. And they're being very nice at calling it semi-liquid. But let's take a look at the shitcoin portfolio. Serum sold their own bag, FTT, Maps. That must have been a good token. Okay? Generate income from a map or something like that. I'm pretty sure it's dumb like that. Anyways, I obviously didn't look into it because shitcoin. Okay, Locked USDT, Oxy, STG, Bonfide. Oh, WSOL. I'm sure that's a good one. That's wrapped Solana for the people who don't know. So just imagine, right? Imagine a shitcoin, and then imagine someone telling you a story about a shitcoin wrapping another shitcoin. There's your wrap tokens. Okay, all bunch of garbage. Here we go. Illiquid stuff. All right, so it looks like he placed a $7 million bet for Trump to lose. Interesting. Okay, $43 million in Twitter. That's interesting. Their VC book. I'm sure that's filled with goodies. Anyways, this is pathetic. This is what happens. This is what the fiat world creates, right? The fiat world does not incentivize quality in any way, shape, or form. It does not incentivize personal responsibility. It doesn't incentivize any of these things. It just incentivizes making as much money as you can as quickly as possible and fuck everyone. This is the summary of the 900 million in liquid assets. The largest portion, or roughly half, was in the form of 470 million of Robinhood shares owned by Bankman-Fried's vehicle, not listed in Friday's bankruptcy filing, which included 134 corporate entities. That gets ugly, huh? 134 companies. And now we start to understand how easily it was to move all these funds around. Anyways, the liquid assets represent just 10% of the total assets, including $5.4 billion in semi-liquid and $3.2 billion in e-liquid, and is a fraction of the $9 billion in liabilities at FTX, which will now make their way through the bankruptcy court for the next several years. That's right. Bankruptcy courts take forever. In some cases, some people just never end up seeing the end of that. That's going to be just a black hole of red tape, legislation, and complete bureaucratic circle jerking and nonsense. Anyways, all right, let's continue on. All right, so look, believe it or not, the heroes in the crypto space have decided to put their heads together and come up with this incredibly genius plan to save crypto. That's right, people. That's right. Because we need to save these illiquid tokens for products that don't need to have tokens attached to them. That's right. That should have made no sense. You're like, wait a second, why does it have a token if it doesn't need it? Bingo. That's the shitcoin use case. It's essentially a token looking for a use case that doesn't exist. Anyways, speaking of the tokens with use cases that don't exist, here we go. Let's take a look at today's tweets out of the hero of FTX, right? CZ. For the people who don't know who CZ is, he's the CEO of Binance, the biggest shitcoin casino in the whole world. To reduce further cascading negative effects of FTX, Binance is forming an industry recovery fund to help projects who are otherwise strong but in liquidity crisis. More details to come soon. In the meantime, please contact Binance Labs if you think you qualify. Let's make no mistake. And by the way, shout out to Walton for sharing this in the in our Telegram group. We had to add this to the clip. We couldn't wait for the weekly. But so this is interesting, right? This is very interesting. Essentially, these projects were otherwise strong, but except for a liquidity problem. That doesn't make any fucking sense. That doesn't make any sense at all. If the product was so strong, then there would be willing buyers of the product, and therefore a liquidity crisis would not occur. So if you ask me, my personal opinion is that CZ is noticing that even his shitcoin casino is not immune. And if this FTX contagion continues, it may take him out too. Anyways, I'm going to continue on because these people are completely delusional clowns. Okay. And you may notice, right? A fund to help recover these projects. This may sound familiar. Right? Let's continue on because it does get cringier. Okay. So this is Simon Dixon, angel investor, 100% angel investor plus BTC. I don't really know, but to me he's just a shitcoiner. Anyways, here we go. I would like to join the fund at CZ Binance. Let's make sure we don't centralize the industry too, though. Let's make this an industry effort. Just that alone is a centralizing statement. It's absolute nonsense and it's ridiculous. So keep in mind, right? They want to shore up funds for these businesses that are quote unquote good businesses that had liquidity crises. We need to unify at Celsius Network creditors, Invest Voyager creditors, FTX official creditors, BlockFi creditors, retweet and follow. Industry creditor recovery plan coming. I remember back in 2008, we had a similar type of situation happen where banks became completely over leveraged on financial products that shouldn't exist. They were essentially derivatives of derivatives of derivatives, right? IOUs cubed, so to speak, and even worse than cubed. I'm actually being very generous. Now, the what we did back then was, as a nation, we picked a bunch of winners and we picked a bunch of losers. And for some reason, we decided that this was free market capitalism, and this was the best thing that we could do to help us get out of this crisis, when really what we should have done is we should have allowed those banks to fucking fail. We should have let those people become broke. We should have let those assets get repurchased by companies that were doing things right, by companies that did manage their risk. Okay. And here we are in crypto being asked to do the same thing again by influencers. Okay. And by the CEO of Binance. We are being asked to save companies and products that do not deserve to be saved. They are absolute garbage. So, for the people that were way too young and don't remember what happened 12 years ago or whatever it is, 14 years ago at this point, the Emergency Economic Stabilization Act of 2008, often called the Bank Bailout of 2008, was proposed by Treasury Secretary Henry Paulson, passed by the 110th United States Congress, and signed into law by President George W. Bush. Became a law as part of the public law in the midst of the financial crisis. It created the $700 billion Troubled Asset Relief Program, TARP, to purchase toxic assets from banks. The funds were mostly redirected to inject capital into banks. All the little people got screwed. Everyone else stayed broke. But the banks were bailed out at the cost of the taxpayer. And guess what, guys? We are now in 2022. We have now done 3 more of these bailouts for different reasons. But we've done 3 more, and it doesn't stop. They just keep renaming it. They just keep kicking the can down the road. That's $700 billion. We've never even come close to paying that back. This is all bullshit. And the crypto industry is literally doing the exact, or attempting to do the exact same thing again. Now, we're going to finish with this last piece, this last tweet from @Concadenomics. Is that it? Concadenomics? Interesting name. Anyways, withdrawals delayed on crypto.com. They're currently experiencing delays with crypto withdrawals due to network traffic. We're currently monitoring this issue. I got to tell you guys, back in 2018, 2019, I got those notifications too from exchanges that were about to become insolvent. Not to say that crypto.com is about to become insolvent, but you may want to seriously reconsider if you're holding any Bitcoin or crypto on these exchanges. You may want to reconsider getting a hardware wallet, or at the very least, and believe me, it's not that great of advice, but at the very least, install a wallet on your phone and start to move your funds there at the very least. But again, right, this is just more not your keys, not your coin mantra. And look, the FTX situation just continues to get worse. And we're going to continue to cover it. But make no mistake, they knew exactly what they were doing. Now, all of a sudden, proponents of the shitcoin space or the crypto space are now scrambling to make sure that they get a cash infusion, or that they create a cash infusion, or at the very least, create the illusion of a cash infusion. So this way, not everybody starts running for the exits. All shitcoins are scams. Every single one of them. The only real cryptocurrency that is actually providing its use case is Bitcoin.